poultry and any sort of chicken that we've already covered the first week in 2 weeks, you're going to need to know about, I don't know, salmonella. You know, the idea that the castrated chicken, what is a castrated chicken? You need to know what that is. Look on the poultry lecture slide if you need to get more information. The internal temperature poultry should be cooked too. You need to know about free-range chickens, what they do, what they can't do, what are they known for. You need to know what part of the chicken is best for braising, roasting, searing, sauteing. Those are items that we already should know. Grades of poultry you need to know. You need to know about grading, why poultry is graded, and what they look for during the grading process. You need to know what a supreme breast is. You need to know where fat is mainly found on poultry. You need to know that term machine.
Internal cooling temp, is that what's in your slide or what the search book says?
165? 165? 165. The book is 180?
Like in the search book is 180.
That's not search safe. I haven't seen that.
What is my search book?
Found on Craigslist. Got it. The collaboration of poultry and what isn't poultry. I'm going to give you a list of name what is not poultry on or one of these answers, which you should all know which one's poultry and which one's not. The best way to determine if your poultry is done, you need to know about that. Going into beef, you need to know quality grades of beef and which one is not a quality grade of beef. You need to know approximately, I know I verbally went over it with you guys and talked many times about it, but there's something called subcutaneous inter and intramuscular fats. You need to know where intra, and then subcutaneous fats. You need to know about them, where they're located on these animals. So if a question's asked, name this type of fat, you need to know what that type of fat is. Fair enough? Mm-hmm. When we accept fresh fish in, you need to know what are the things we look for. The important things that we look for. The round fish, flat fish, saltwater, freshwater varieties, you need to kind of familiarize yourself with them to identify that this fish is flatwater, or flat fish, round, or is it from salt or freshwater? You need to know where they're located. The fish, are they inspected? Are they not inspected? If they're inspected, who are they inspected by? Those questions will be asked of you. The market forms of fish means how we can buy fish. I know I went over the market forms of fish that you can actually buy. Okay. The lamb, there was that fatty tissue called fell. You need to know about it. You need to know what it is. If you should remove it, take it away, keep it. You need to know what approximately season spring lamb is located. The months of spring lamb, you need to kind of get an idea, venture in to find out where those are from. You need to know about mutton and the age of mutton and lamb. You need to know the quality grades of lamb. During the grading process, what's looked into the grading of lamb, why lamb is graded. You need to kind of know that. Going into our favorite conversation about offals, you need to identify glandular versus muscular offals. When we talked about the liver, I had mentioned that the liver that we got in, the membrane and veins have been removed out of the ones that we got in. Not so with the case that you might get it at your restaurant or get it at the house. So the veins and membranes need to be removed out of the calf's liver before you would use it. Giving you the answer.
How do you go about that? Using like how you would debone a fish, just pointing it out?
Yeah. Basically, just a little cut around it.
Or just point it out?
No, it's a whole liver.
Yeah.
Whenever they take it out of the actual animal, the slaughterhouses that actually go into the offals and work with them for selling them, most cases will remove it. Usually it's grabbing onto them because they're separated and they kind of pull them out. rapidly, so they'll be stuck in there. And you guys remember seeing the holes in ours?
Right.
They're removed. And the membrane is all kind of like that sweetbread membrane. It's a little bit thicker as well, and you need to remove it.
So they're removed when it's whole, not when they're cut.
Yeah, it needs to be removed when it's whole. It's easier when it's whole.
Okay.
The sweetbreads, the 3 Ps, you need to know about the preparation for the sweetbreads. Just a kind of funny question. Sweetbreads are not a bakery item like a cinnamon roll. Just saying. You need to know that one. Okay. The direct correlation or translation about sweetbreads or offals in general, what they are. Okay. Offals are the organs or parts that fall out of the animal when they're being slaughtered or butchered. Remember that? Going into sausages, you need to know the components of a sausage. You need to know what the components of a sausage are. How many components of a sausage there are. You're going to need to know what is not a form of a sausage. Okay. Natural casings versus synthetic casings. You need to know what is natural and what is not natural. You need to identify that answer. Different types of force meats, you need to know about them, how many there are. You need to know how many there are, and the ones that there are, you need to kind of look into. Okay, 5, 4, 3, those things. You need to know what a panada is, and what a panada is used for, and why we would use a panada. Okay. Your feral hog, or feral pigs, you need to know what they are. You need to know a little bit about, again, force meats. If you're looking for garnishes and force meats, what are 2 kinds of garnished and force meats? When I set up the grinder for you guys in the classroom, I went over every part, and I named every part for the grinder. It's important that you guys fast forward, rewind, wherever Eric's video is, to find out what I said, what parts of the grinder there are. You need to know about veal, what color veal is. You need to know what age veal is slaughtered at or up to. Identify the quality grades of veal. When we go into the pork, you need to know about the classifications of pigs, suckling pigs, market forms, those things. You need to know the male and female of those as well. Different types of ribs. You need to know, identify what is a rib and what isn't a rib from the pork. You need to know the quality grades of pork. When we go to foie gras, you need to know what foie gras is. You need to know what is considered game and what isn't considered game. You're going to need to know, is wild game farm raised? Is it not farm raised? Currently to use in our restaurants. Everything you need to understand. Larding and barding, you're going to need to know them again. Okay. I know we did not talk a lot about ecume. I know you learned ecume in Foundations 2, right? What was ecume? Right. It's basically skim the surface. Okay.
That it would be degradé.
Degradé is removing the grease. Dépouillage is to remove some sort of scum, but the actual the verb to skim is ecume. Okay. All right. One of the last questions that is a multiple choice question that I want to kind of go over. It's a math question. Okay. I want you guys to freak out, but really, thanks for that information there. It's a math question. Simply, it's a math / yield costing question. It's extremely simple, and I say that because it really is. But you need to kind of break it down. Hopefully, apples and apples with any math. Math is, ideally, the only thing that holds true. Math is math is math. No opinion about math, no one's thoughts about math, that it works out or it doesn't work out. In order to work for math, you need to make sure you put everything exactly in the same playing fields. Apples, apples, oranges, oranges, etc. So basically what it's saying is that it's going to give you an amount of a piece of meat. It's going to tell you how much that piece of meat cost. Okay. It's going to tell you how much you lost during the trimming process. as I have talked about and had my little scrap buckets, encourage you guys to do the same thing. Only thing it's going to ask is how much did the scraps cost you? Okay? It's basically a yield or a butcher yield test. As simple as that. Okay, and there's a question on here. Answers. There's like 3 answers. It just doesn't make sense. So hopefully you can guess out which one did. Okay, but you need to read the question, thoroughly understand the question before you can answer the question. Got it? Because if you read it the wrong way, you're going to give me the wrong answer. It's a guarantee. Okay? No.
Of course.
So anyway, that is 64 questions. Another 36. It's basically this that I have to hand grade. I love doing that with the 28 students. You have to go to this diagram in your books, on the PowerPoint slides, or whichever you want to reflect back to. It's again, people either fail it bad or they pass it good. The answers are right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is not.
Hi. The answers are right here.
Match it up to them. That's easy.
There's beef, listen up, there's beef, veal, pork, lamb.
All those are on just like that.
Every single one of them, just like that. So you have to identify where that goes in legibly, so I can understand what you actually wrote. Okay?
That's 36 and 36 questions. You have one of every animal, or just the animal?
Again, I have beef, I have pork, I have veal, and I have lamb.
The diagram on the PowerPoint.
Sorry?
Isn't it the diagram on the PowerPoint?
Yes. And I verbally went over the pieces as well. Yes, sir.
You're filling out the diagrams for all of them, or just beef?
You're filling out the diagrams for 36 answers.
I'm just going to take a word bank. I'm going to take a word bank. I could
Rather
pass
than
it.
multiple choice, honestly.
So the answer is right there, so.
36 times 28 students, that's drinking mode right there. Mr. Reed, no!
Who plays an alphabet words on the end?
Alright, any questions on that? Yes, sir, Mr.
I
Brown.
didn't hear you say anything about shellfish.
There's a little bit about seafood. It's a collation of everything that we've done. Not a lot about seafood. Just a few things about fish or key components of fish. Okay. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. No. Your final is Friday. Tomorrow is your practical, but there will be a knife cut that you need to print out too. I know kind of Alex hit upon that.
So the finals Friday.